Welcome back, Dota 2 fans. It's our second best of three of the evening, H Cup Season 5. We got Newbee.Y taking on their opponents in iG.Vitality. iG.V have looked very strong recently in the H Cup, but Newbee.Y were able to 2-0 Vici Gaming yesterday, so we'll see if they can continue to roll through with their momentum. This group still very much so up for grabs, so it should be a good one. It's MRP and Mikelorus here, your English coverage.
Yep, just looking for that win, looking to tie things up with cdec on top of Group A. I actually have no idea what happens if there's a tie. Guess they just get into a tiebreaker sometime. Not sure when that is, but yeah, it looks like that is. There's at least a pretty decent chance of that happening. Actually, they are guaranteed a tie. Someone's guaranteed a tie, it looks like. So I don't know. The admins are going to have to find out something. But yeah, either way, it is going to be a pretty interesting match. Newbee.Y and iG.Vitality both looking fairly strong, and I would expect a much closer game than some of the games we've already seen in the past couple of days, and well, even today. But I think the most interesting so far is the fact we have Enchantress in the pool. Well, I guess not anymore, but Chen is actually the one banned out, which is here that we haven't really seen these Chinese teams gravitate towards so much, especially first ban.
Yeah, definitely so. It's a little bit of an odd one, and I believe Super can play both, so it's odd to see the Chen come out beforehand. There's not really any clear benefit to him over the Enchantress, and certainly the Enchantress very good both in defensive and offensive potential, so that is something iG.V will be super content to pick up here early on. Still a Doom, a Death Prophet in the pool, and OD is there as well, so a lot of strong heroes still available to iG.V. They're going to pick up the Night Stalker. This is something we've seen come into favor for sure, and not so much in the very early phases, but this is more than likely going to be iG.V's support duo here. They could put the Night Stalker, of course, into a core role. Enchantress has the potential to go to the offlane, but in the Eastern scene, more often than not, then we will see the jungling / roaming Enchantress, and the Night Stalker kind of fits the same bill. So if they don't put one of these in a designated core role, it does feel like maybe their safe lane could be a slight bit weak.
Yeah, but that being said, they're still going to go for this overarching aggressive strategy up against Newbee.Y, who are going to pick up the Witch Doctor, mostly just because they're going up against Enchantress. The nice solid stun, to say the least, a little bit of extra sustain there as well. It is not the easiest hero to pick off as Night Stalker, assuming even levels, but this Beastmaster first pick, pretty common that we actually see this, and up against a very early pick of the Night Stalker, he gets a lot better. Just having that Hawk in the area makes Night Stalker, I mean, his dives are going to be a little more difficult to achieve because you're going to be more ready with TPs and responses and whatnot. The Roar is great to actually save your allies if they're the ones to get doped by Night Stalker. Early on, these squabbles are usually going to be slightly better for a Beastmaster, more so than almost any other hero. So Newbee.Y kind of just walking into a situation accidentally where Beastmaster just gets so much better. So Newbee.Y already having one of the better heroes to have up against the Night Stalker, kind of gank heavy, tempo heavy draft from iG.Vitality.
In the same respect, I have seen a lot of Night Stalker picks in response to Beastmaster throughout the Eastern scene, and that is generally just because at some point you anticipate getting up an Ag's Gem, and being able to remove the Hawk vision off of the map can be very beneficial, as well as just having the vision yourself. So in the ultra late or in the later stages, if the Night Stalker is able to establish a semblance of farm, a good semblance of farm here, then iG.V definitely could look to choke out the map. Though they do pick up the Death Prophet, so the ultra late is certainly not necessary. It's certainly a bit of an afterthought for them now, and altogether, definitely fits the theme of aggressiveness that you touched upon before, and definitely has some very real chase potential with the Charm and the Void and the Siphon all together here. So Death Prophet definitely a strong pickup. Would have expected it more so first phase, but they'll opt to get it after that. And IO Ben is an interesting one coming out from iG.V, but Phoenix going to be the pickup for Young, and that's more than likely the reveal of their support duo in the Witch Doctor Bird.
They're going to have a Phoenix versus a Night Stalker. Not exactly best times for the Bird in that regard, but for iG.V, I think it was either going to be like Gyrocopter, Slark, Spectre as their core hero in that safe lane. Gyrocopter a little bit better than the other two at fighting super early, a little bit worse in the super late. But iG.Vitality aren't really super interested in taking this game to that late game stage. Night Stalker, Gyrocopter, powerful enough for sure, assuming Night Stalker or Enchantress going to be in that support role in that bottom lane to handle a Beastmaster, at least make sure that they get their farm. So it's going to come down to, I think, the vast majority of this game, Newbee.Y in their kind of tower defense, their high ground defense. We saw it earlier. Venomancer picked up in order to kind of make that happen. I'm pretty sure Newbee.Y are not going to go for the same direction as they do go ahead and grab a Juggernaut for their own safe lane. But iG.Vitality, they have the pushing damage. They have the vision, assuming the Night Stalker is able to get that. They have the aggressive dive power. They really just have to work around this exorcism cooldown and maybe grab a little bit of extra sustain to go for those towers. Then they're going to be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, they definitely can be punished, though, if they overextend. I feel like, I mean, this lineup that it's been assembled from Newbee is definitely really good defensively. They have the Supernova, the Blade Fury to get away the cast to cover a retreat, as well as the Hawk Vision and the Primal Roar if need be. And I like the Juggernaut pickup. I feel like they lacked a little bit of burst, and it makes sense with this puck ban from iG.V. That they do lack a little bit of burst here. You want to be able to kill the Death Prophet in the duration of a Primal Roar, ideally, in these fights, and remove that Exorcism. Gyrocopter is another hero who's fairly squishy early on and pretty susceptible to that long duration single target stun, especially with a Juggernaut beside him. So even if the Gyro is able to pick up a BKB at some point, I'm not sure that it's the best game. It's a little bit of a catch-22 in this one, but Omni Slash plus Primal Roar with the Necro units on top should more than likely be able to threaten his life. So we'll see if Newbee are able to mitigate kind of that a little bit of a lack of burst that they do not have in their lineup for now in the mid lane. But iG.V, they are going to have this Night Stalker or Enchantress, one or the other, be in that core position with this 5th pick line.
Difference doesn't seem too significant as of right now. Whoever is not going to be in that off lane is going to be joined with a Lion and Gyrocopter to kill off. I would assume to be a Beastmaster, and that is very, very possible. So, yeah, it's not going to be the biggest difference in the world there for the iG.Vitality side. For Newbee.Y, a little bit more AoE now on the board with this Lina, another hero that, as you said, can just dump a ton of damage into a Roar. Not quite enough to 100-0 Death Prophet every time, but you should be able to kill off a Death Prophet if you catch her alone, if you have a Necro Book on the Beastmaster, and if you have the Lina in a good position to get those kills. So iG.Vitality, I think the only weakness that you could really point to is that maybe they're going to lack that Batrider-esque hero to really start the fights underneath the towers, but you have a Lion, you have a Night Stalker, you can just slow siege the towers and force Newbee.Y to come to you. So they do have ways of getting around that, but they may run into an issue, especially trying to bust up high ground, where Newbee.Y are just going to be able to spam out the creep waves nonstop, and then iG.Vitality will need a pretty large advantage or just balls of steel to say, okay, screw it, we're going to go up the high ground without initiation, and we're going to see what happens afterwards.
Yeah, ironically, I was going to point out the Lina as a potential option for Newbee.Y. I felt like maybe it was a bit of a tough pick into the Night Stalker, and it, for that reason, kept quiet about it. But in July, he is going to be the one who's quote-unquote getting farm priority. I mean, Super is going to be essentially free farming in the jungle here with no bounty hunter on the other side or anything of the sort to roam around him. But in July, he'll be the one soaking some experience in the off lane and getting a couple of levels up in that crippling fear before the Yule Scepter potentially comes out for SC is going to be really nice for iG.V, and I feel like they can definitely apply some pressure to this Lina. However, Lina does solve the burst issues and can contest the Death Prophet in lane, unlike a lot of mids who are really susceptible to her burst early on.
Ooh, Gyrocopter flying in circles. He is going to see this one coming and time to turn the jets the other way and book it out of there. So Newbee.Y smoke gank not going to be as successful as the ones that we saw in the previous set. Still be able to at least threaten this jungle, perhaps. Maybe iG.Vitality thinking that their jungle is warded, and it's not going to be. I'm not really sure if that's a huge win there. Newbee.Y definitely looking for the kill, not going to really be happy about that. But we do have what looks like pretty much the lanes as to be expected from the iG.Vitality side, but it is worth noting, got the Lion with Boots of Speed first, so perhaps prepping for a little bit more of an aggressive path for this Lion. They're going to get into a fight, start things off. LSA and Cask onto two heroes with the spin on the Death Prophet. That Siphon's not going to do it. The Lina sneaks in a right click, and she's going to grab the first blood. Get much better than that in such an early engagement.
Yeah, it's definitely the hero you want to be able to pick up the first blood there, and It's too late to get the bounty rune bottom, and Super is forced to pick it up top for iGV's side, so they do deny the bounty rune away, but Super, he's in trouble. The Sunray, but the cask finishes him off as well, and the start for Lei and MR is going to be a great one at this point. Already, both of them halfway towards that level 2 mark. In July, he's far up just after his comrade falls. Could be in a little bit of trouble himself. Blade Fury, though, there's a mango on Fawn. Does he pop it here? Cask, it has nothing to bounce to, so would be a tough kill. The Night Stalker, fairly tanky innately. But either way, a great start here for Newbee.Y.
They can keep iG.Vitality on the back foot, then they will just have longer to farm and just wait and maybe look for even more pickoffs until the push is going to come in. The Enchantress right now, of course, is going to have a rather slow start, is going to start getting together her creeps, but the objective is going to be, if she can, gank the Beastmaster, and with this Observer Ward up, it'll be very hard for her to sneak through the Newbee.Y side. Already, you know that the Enchantress did not load out with a smoke, so they're not going to be super scared of that. And you really do need a smoke if you're going to try to get the wraparound on the Lina or the Beastmaster. So Enchantress may struggle to actually find some aggressive power, even though she does find Dark Troll Summoner, which is the hero, the creep to get if you are an Enchantress. She's going to get a smoke delivered to her, and with the Wolf and the Dark Troll, start wrapping around over in mid. SC is going to be in for a 1v3, a difficult one for this Lina to survive. I think as long as a net lands from the Troll, will get this kill. SC is going to think about turning around, but no, the Siphon is there, and with the net, they'll just beat her down. A very easy kill for IG.
Yeah, they'll even rotate in July, and certainly is warranted. I mean, he wasn't getting much out of this top lane, didn't load out with an Iron Talon, so isn't able to retreat to the jungle, and his services are better used towards this mid lane. You mentioned the Enchantress not loading out with the smoke, and her dying early, however, has given the opportunity for Xiao Lei to be in the bottom lane, finding quite a bit on the Beastmaster, so he is level 3 mid lane, though Friend in a little bit of trouble. LSA will connect just on the edge for SC. He's got 1 second until a Dragon Slave. Fairy Fire, though, will keep the Death Prophet safe for the time being. Alpha Wolf pretty low. SC, though, he's going to have to bottle up, turn around. And the tower will find it for now. He's got the full bottle, so lane will draw about even at this point with the rotations in from supports on either side. But grabbing that kill up, and that assist at least for Fran, is certainly going to help out in a mid lane where she was a little bit hindered earlier on. They're going to get into a little bit of battle, though, underneath the tower. And SC with the Fiery Soul felt like he could man up, but ended up dropping first. So Death Prophet will be the one to net the experience for that one, and definitely finds a little bit of an advantage made as she will hit the level 4 mark and quite a bit more over top of SC's Lina.
Death Prophet level 4.5, only 3 minutes in. Soul Kill's gonna do that for you. Fran is gonna be, even with dealing with this Phoenix, not too worried about that, all things considered. The Sunray was earlier interrupted by the Enchantress net, but I'm pretty sure that wouldn't have gotten the kill on the Death Prophet anyway. As long as she's able to just stick in this lane and right-click away on the creeps, I think she should be fine. It's going to be really hard for Newbee.Y with the heroes that they have to move this Death Prophet out of the lane, especially when they're going to lose their supports elsewhere. Witch Doctor in a little bit of trouble. Hellbear is going to get stunned up. He already got the clap off. In July is right on the tail of the Witch Doctor, but he's not quite close enough. And now the Blade Fury onto Super will get the kill. Phoenix is going to steal it with the Sunray. They're going to try to chase after the Night Stalker. I don't think they're quite fast enough for that, but Enchantress almost gets the kill on the Witch Doctor, but unfortunately just ends up giving her life away.
Yeah, some really perfect Sunray play there as well from the Phoenix from Newbee.Y, and it gets on July pretty low. It's going to force him to use most of his regen here. SC, though, going to catch a Void mid lane. Siphon is available for Friend, but not quite in range just yet. LSA will be thrown out, and now they can dive this as it did whiff. SC gets the Fairy Fire off, but will end up going down the Sunray. Should finish off Friend here, and actually neither of the two heroes there going to pick up the last hit. In July with his first rotation of the nighttime is going to bear fruit in the mid lane, and they pick up the Lina before the Death Prophet goes down once again. So it's not ideal that the Death Prophet dies for her second time, but she's been able to find the kills on her opposite mid lane both times beforehand. Now Xiao Lei, he's going to be voided up, and Rocket Barrage will bring him down. So in quick succession, 2 successful rotations from in July.
Definitely a lot faster than Newbee.Y really expected. The Night Stalker was just mid diving a tower, and suddenly he's diving another one on the bottom lane. He only has boots, by the way, so the Night Stalker really shouldn't be that scary of a hero, but yeah, with the gyrocopter there to do the damage, all you need is a little bit of slow. Newbee.Y, they are making some okay trades on this Death Prophet, but as you said, Fran is still getting the experience from these kills, and even though you would like your Death Prophet to be able to go for something like a Yule Scepter, something along those lines, keep herself safe versus the Juggernaut, or start to build up Boots would be a good start for her. Just getting experience means that the lane is going to be even tougher for Newbee.Y to gank and pressure in the future, and an earlier exorcism means that you can pressure those towers just a little bit earlier as well. So things still going pretty darn well for this Death Prophet, and much better now that the Night Stalker is with the phase boots and actually rotating around with almost the entirety of the iG.Vitality squad. Enchantress is going to be spotted by an Observer Ward, so that's going to put SC in a false sense of security right now, because he's going to be swarmed with heroes very shortly. There is no crippling fear here, but at the same time, it's a 1v4. Good luck, SC. The cooldown's going to come in. SC in a lot of trouble. Drop a couple spells. He'll miss most of it. They're going to stun up this Gyrocopter, but the rockets are still firing with the Siphon there onto the Witch Doctor to get the kill, but traded for the Gyrocopter. In July is going to run to the Beastmaster. Through the trees, going to try to juke. Not going to happen. Impale onto the Juggernaut. Will get the kill there, but the Sunray, he hit a 3-for-3 so far. Frem, very low on mana, is going to turn around, try to man up with the one Crypt Storm she has available. Will fire it. Not quite enough damage there, and will get beaten down by the Beastmaster. As Newbee.Y barely scrape an advantageous fight there.
Yeah.
Phoenix doing quite a lot of damage.
Yeah, overall it ends up being a 4-for-3, and Vaughn is there for a lot of the kills as well, coming in and doing a boatload of damage to that Gyrocopter with the level 4 Blade Fury. So his rotation absolutely necessary for his squad. The big beneficiary though, Xiao Tulei alongside his Phoenix there. They'll both pick up 650 plus XP and net positive gold. Lay SCC though, and this is what I was talking about at the very beginning of the game, into a Night Stalker. Lina definitely not the most resistant mid laner before she picks up a Yule's, and that is clear and far away right now for this Lina. SCC struggling a little bit. That engagement mid certainly is going to help Newbee.Y's cause, but still feels like iG.V in a good spot at this point. Their offlaner for the Beastmaster though, on the dire side, gaining a lot there, and now eclipsing in July's mark after a couple of successful rotations. And speaking of said offlaner, gonna pop up a Hawk top lane in July, maybe in a bit of trouble. They have the Primal Roar available. Double Boar is there as well. He's got the move speed though from the Hunter and the Knight and the Phase Boots. Will be able to make it out scot-free. Rotation though, bot lane. Let and SCC rotating through. The cask is gonna bounce only once though onto Super. Dive forward now from the Phoenix. Laguna Blade will just finish off the Enchantress. They'll hold nothing back for that kill, and yeah, definitely a very squishy target early on, one that is very susceptible to this magic damage. But the response will be mid from Fran. Dogfights and in July, they'll pop up the Exorcism and look to bring down this tier 1. It was pretty healthy before this though, so we'll see if the response will be inbound from Newbee.Y. They have a glyph available, only Lay nearby at this point. And now they'll TP in. They've got the Primal Roar. Bond going to be up in the front lines, has the Omni Slash off of cooldown. SCC coming through, doesn't have a Laguna Blade. Primal Roar is over on Xiao Tulei's hands in the bottom lane, so for now they will deter the push from the Radiant side, but won't be able to find any kills off of it.
You can't appreciate the fact that iG.Vitality with this draft are playing pretty much how the draft should be played right now, and it always kills me to see a team not doing that, but it's going to be, on the bottom lane, he's in a little bit of trouble. The Roar, there's an angle for it. Call down is going to be deployed, but there's way too many heroes here, and the Gyrocopter is literally in a corner. Will fall after doing just a little bit of damage to everyone. Supernova will go off, crushing, of course, those Phoenix's cooldowns. They will finish up this mid-tier 1 while the Gyrocopter is going to fall, but I mean, these towers are kind of guaranteed for the iG.Vitality side, so that's not really a huge trade. They have Enchantress, they have a Death Prophet. Taking these towers shouldn't really be, at least these outer towers shouldn't really be an issue. They really just have to make sure the Gyrocopter is scaling well enough with the rest of Newbee.Y so that they can continue fighting once the tier 2s and tier 3s become the objectives. So losing the Gyrocopter is definitely going to be an expensive loss there for iG.Vitality, and especially since they end up losing a tower of their own. So the tower trade is actually even there. Newbee.Y, they're responding pretty well so far to the attempted aggression from the iG.Vitality side. Now it's up towards top lane where there's going to be the next challenge. Lion is in a pretty darn good spot along with Super, and there are currently only 2 heroes staying in the trees. I don't really think Newbee.Y are going to do this, although spin onto July right now with the Sunray. July taking a lot of damage, and the Night Stalker will fall before his backup can come in.
And no Omni Slash used as well.
He wastes his ultimate also.
Darkness, yeah, on the sidelines, as you mentioned. They will get the Hex off onto Fawn. He still has an Omni Slash, though, but the Finger of Death, just recently picked up by Dogfights, will be enough. Fawn feeling a little bit confident after they bring the Night Stalker down, and he will pay for it. So overall, it's like a good trade for iG.V. They bring the rotation up, and they felt maybe that the Night Stalker was alone, but no one else showing on the map. So Fawn perhaps with a slight misstep in this top lane, it'll cost him his life. And now Yuno gonna rotate up. It'll be cast up though. Death Ward from the trees. Cast gonna bounce through nicely with the Sunray. Yuno in trouble. The third bounce towards the gyro. They will bring down the Witch Doctor on the backside with the Exorcism and the Crypt Swarm, but it's a very nice pick just for a Witch Doctor and a Phoenix. The LSA will catch on to Super. They have the Laguna. The Nature's Attendants, though, healing her, keeping her safe. Fawn, he's got an Omni Slash if need be. It'll jump completely onto Fran, and he will get the kill. The second kill as well. Le, unstoppable on the Phoenix. Supernova going to be popped off. Super in a little bit of trouble. SC gets the Dragon Slave off. Fawn trying to chase her down with the Phase Boots. Could be possible, but the Untouchable will keep the Enchantress safe. So Fawn thinks better of it. He'll drop down that Healing Ward, and overall, nice turn coming through from Newbee.Y. They end up losing the Witch Doctor and the Beastmaster, so Night Stalker, Death Prophet, Witch Doctor, and the Beastmaster, but still, good trade for them, and they've got the Healing Ward up. The Supernova refreshed the cooldowns on the Phoenix, and now the Primal Roar off cooldown, so they'll continue to push forward, although Xiaotule seems like he's going to take towards this mid lane. He's gone for the early Vlads, and this is a very good lineup at taking Roche with the Vlads alongside the Voodoo Restoration. They've got the Healing Ward if need be, and the Fire Spirits come out from the Phoenix. Cask, though, Super, he's in a lot of trouble here and may just fall. Death Ward will secure the kill, so that Fen does not have to overextend, and now Phoenix, even for worse for wear, is going to be able to deal that bounty rune away from Fran. MRR, though, he'll be found out by in July. And action across the board. The Witch Doctor, unable to extract himself from that tier 1 push in time, will be the return kill found by iG.V. But this last set of skirmishes seems to have favored Newbee.Y pretty heavily.
Especially since they're keeping the focus of the fights on the iG.Vitality side of the map. No time for Exorcism to cross over the last tier 1 or even start scratching at those tier 2s. The Witch Doctor did go down there. Probably this ward is going to be gotten rid of by dogfights. Yeah, there's only one reason why a Witch Doctor would be there, and it's the Places Observer Ward, so they're going to get rid of it. But in this game, we're seeing pretty much peak Phoenix play right now. Like, he's 6-0 and 7. Didn't really have to worry about all too much, this Phoenix, and was able to not only get kills, but survive. So that's why we see maxed out Sunray so early. It's very rare that we see a Phoenix with this high of an impact, but as long as you're able to get experience as Phoenix, you're able to get into these situations where your spells do a hell of a lot of damage, not to mention the heal and all the other utility you get from it. So this Phoenix is having just a baller game right now, and the super early hand of Midas doesn't look like that's really going to stop anytime soon. They'll secure the Aegis. They will, iG.Vitality, know this is going on, but they are a little bit too late to stop this. Newbee.Y can actually take this fight afterwards. They do have an Omni Slash. They have all their cooldowns ready. And iG.Vitality should not move in here.
Yeah, and they even send in an Enchantress creep for Le to Midas up on the Phoenix, which gives him his level 9 just before the fight. So level 2 Fire Spirits coming out, and yeah, he's having an MVP caliber game thus far. His control on the Sunray has been very impressive. He's been on target every engagement and netted him quite a few kills, as you mentioned. 6-0 and 7, involved in 13 of the 16 kills thus far. So 80+% so far for Le, and they'll be wrapped around on here. But MRR should be able to pop the smoke. They're actually maybe too far off to the east. Now he will pop Yuno smoke, so they find the Witch Doctor out in the trees. The Exorcism will be there. 2-man silences are there as well. Finger of Death immediately eliminates the Phoenix. The Roar comes out onto Dogfights, and the Laguna Blade will find a return kill onto the Gyro. The Death Ward doing a lot of work. Dogfights in trouble. Aegis will be popped onto Fawn, but he'll return to the fray. Voodoo Restoration keeping SCC and MMR healthy. The Dragon Slave will finish off the Enchantress, and now in July, he's all here by his lonesome Fran. He's found out in the trees. Fawn will drop to the Exorcism after the Omni Slash kills off in July, but it's a triple kill for SCC. There's still 3 newbie heroes alive. They'll get the tier 2 triple kill and a tier 2 tower. Last hit for SCC, and 5-man wipe for iG.
The fact that they lost that fight hurts for iG. The fact that this particular draft lost that fight hurts even more. iG's late game plan mostly revolves around the gyrocopter. Death Prophet is no slouch either, but considering how far ahead Newbee have gotten in this early phase where IG are supposed to be the ones winning, is really troubling for the game plan overall for IG. Like, what can they do at this point to actually switch things up? It looked decent with that start. Like, you get a wraparound on the enemy Phoenix, you end a monster spree on the Lion, so he's almost looking at Blink Dagger, but even after that, everyone else from Newbee.Y, especially with this Aegis, powerful enough to continue onwards with that fight. Phoenix is going to get jumped by the Night Stalker. Icarus dive away is going to keep the bird safe. Newbee.Y working with a lot of momentum right now, but the scariest thing is that they don't even have to be working with this momentum. They can afford to slow the game down and play a really patient game because they know that iG.Vitality, they are supposed to be succeeding right now and they're not. So Newbee.Y are so much more ahead where they really should be. This is going to be a pretty big pickup though. The line with the Blink Dagger is going to offer IG so many more opportunities to get those picks and hopefully take the fights closer to the dire side of the map, get that exorcism going into those towers. But for right now, it's going to be into line the most trouble. It's daytime, and he's going to get roared. Tule has a Blink Dagger. They'll roast him up. Grab a very free kill, and ooh, can they also grab Uno here? Lift it up into the air. There's an LSA, and it'll land with a Death Ward. Uno down. A twofer for Newbee.Y. Can they pressure any objectives here? Seems like no, but still, keeping the gyrocopter down. That's should be objective number 1 here for Newbee.
Yeah, 2,400 gold on the Beastmaster after that bottom lane engagement. Immediately picks up the Blink Dagger, and they smoke right off the back of that pickup in response to the Lion's Blink Dagger. Net themselves a couple of kills, and that's always going to be the innate advantage to the Beastmaster's Blink Dagger over the Lion, is that he has a Hawk to pair with it. So that extra bit of vision, you get the smoke pop, blinks forward to find the Night Stalker, and just couldn't get back in time. The Aether Lens on SCC allowing him to use him up from pretty far distance away, and also drops. They're not all that worried, not all that cooldown dependent as much as their counterparts in iG.V, and Laguna Blade is a pretty short one, so they'll have that back up. Death Ward will be up in 25 seconds, but they've still got the Supernova and the Omni Slash. Fawn will back off for now, just waiting for those cooldowns perhaps to be back up at full strength. And I mean, as you mentioned, they have tons of options here from Newbee. They can slow the game down a bit, farm up their Juggernaut. He's certainly, all things considered, in the pace of the game, gonna have a much better scenario in the late game, especially considering he's got a Primal Roar and a Supernova to back him up. So Newbee.Y pretty content with where they stand at this point.
iG.Vitality needs to use this Blink Dagger on Lion. They need to smoke up. As I say that, they smoke up. So good job, guys, and look to jump pretty much anyone, honestly. Like, there are no bad kills for them to find. Witch Doctor, obviously the one that they don't want to find, but Night Stalker is going to push forward right now.
The one
hero
they do want to find.
Intercepted is Fawn, but it's a Juggernaut with drums. They're going to blink in, hex him up. He has a lot of backup behind him. Tule's going to jump in. Roar dogfights, therefore saving the Juggernaut. Building a lot of damage. They're already taking down 2 heroes. Supernova in the middle of the fight. No one's focusing. The Death Ward is there as well. It's going to be a massacre for Newbee.Y. They take down 3. Brand is off to the side with an Invis rune. That's going to keep him safe, but everyone else from iG.Vitality taking a fall, and Fran, yeah, he's going to walk out of there because of that rune. Still, Newbee.Y are spamming out spells looking for him. Can't quite find it, but still, it's a massive victory for Newbee.Y. That was a Blink Dagger hex onto Juggernaut that just led nowhere.
Yeah, they had the Sunray behind it. They had the immediate Supernova, and not only did the Death Ward come out from MRR, but he popped the Voodoo Restoration beforehand, which is level 4, keeping Fawn in fighting shape, and beautiful turn overall. Immediate blink response from Xiao Tule onto the Lion. So I don't know if we saw a finger. Yeah, the Finger of Death didn't come out there. He got the Hex and the Impale off, but the Finger not there in time. So too late, saving his Juggernaut.
Well, I mean, the initiation was still decent. Just Newbee.Y were in the right place at the right time. I mean, you are obviously going to take that jump if you have that opportunity again, but not knowing who's right around the corner, this time kind of screwing over the iG.Vitality side, going to lose yet another set of map control objectives here as Newbee.Y are slowly but surely dominating the map, and with the Beastmaster, that is going to be felt even harder by the iG.Vitality side, and we're gonna have a Battle Fury in the Juggernaut. He's not even geared up for a super aggressive playstyle. He's playing for late game, and iG.Vitality have no similar hero here.
Yeah, I mean, the Gyrocopter, where he is, standing right now in the game is opting for the defensive build, which is, you know, something I mentioned in the draft screen that is a bit of a catch-22 in this one. There's actually so much physical damage coming out from the opposite side with the Beastmaster, with the Death Ward, with the Juggernaut's right clicks, and eventually there's going to be an Ags on the Lina, excuse me, as well. So the BKB seems almost necessary, as Juno has been, you know, connected on by the cask and some of the Lina disables. Saw him drop there in the bot lane, but it isn't going to offer him all that much going forward in these fights. So yeah, it definitely feels like Newbee.Y in a very, very comfortable position and just not willing to feed over an advantage. Continue to keep some vision up, continue to split the map and farm, and then look to take fights where they do have the vision and are able to get the jump with this Beastmaster. Mid lane may be offering them up the perfect target here. Yule's up onto Yuno. He's going to drop. This is going to further set back the BKB. They'll even use the Roar on the backlines. It'll catch Fran, and they get the two most important enemy heroes in this mid lane offered up to them on a silver platter. Seems a little bit odd to see the Gyro and the Death Prophet in mid lane without a Lion behind them. And iG.V are going to pay heavily for that oversight.
Well, in this situation, Lion's probably pretty happy that it wasn't behind him, because he definitely would have died if he was. It's going to be a whole bunch of red heroes on the top of the net worth chart. Witch Doctor has to obviously get his act together, but still Newbee.Y. Screw creeps. They're just going to go in with one range creep, one siege creep to take off the back protection, take down the tier 3. 15 seconds left until the Death Prophet is up. Maybe they can get a cheese finger kill, but that seems very unlikely considering Witch Doctor is the most live one to do that. And Super's gonna get jumped first and annihilated. Omni Slash down. Kind of excessive overkill there, but still they take melee racks. They're gonna get away with the Juggernaut dogfights. Still gonna chase after the Witch Doctor. They may lose him, but they don't really care that they do lose him. Lina is actually gonna get her TP canceled. Lina's a little more expensive. Finger of Death is there. Yule Scepter will not really do a ton here. She's still gonna land to a massive hero. She's gonna turn around, fire a couple nukes, but will get spiked in the end, as the Witch Doctor actually is able to somehow slip out of there. So yeah, I guess iG.Vitality get a better kill than they were really expecting, but still, it's only 22 minutes in. They have the aggressive draft, and they're down a set of rack.
Yeah, wise play from July to chase forward. It being nighttime, he's pretty quick, and you know they could settle for the Witch Doctor kill, and they probably should have got both there, but he gets the more important one. Either way, Newbee.Y still pretty content with their spoils in that mid lane, and using the Omni Slash from Fawn he was probably expecting heroes to come in beside the Enchantress and then continue to bounce. So it seemed like certain overkill, and that's probably the reason that they end up backing, no longer having that ultimate. But either way, they get the melee racks here 22 minutes into the game. They'll just wait out this Roshan. They'll scout it out immediately with the Hawk. So they're able, as mentioned before, they're pretty damn good Rosh lineup. They're able to just sneak their way in there and bring it down fairly quickly. You won't do all that much damage to them as well with the Fire Spirits from the Phoenix and the Voodoo Restoration and the Vlads on the Beastmaster. So they're definitely fight ready if iG.V looks to contest, and this Roshan will give them likely enough gold for SCC's full Aghanim Scepter as well.
Aghanim Scepters for everyone. Shiva's not quite up on the Phoenix, but I mean, if you're a Phoenix, you have Hand of Midas, Veil, and a Plate Mail by 23 minutes, you're already ecstatic about your game. So the lack of... he once again gets the Hand of Midas delivery. Enchantress, such a good person.
Honestly, good guy Enchantress. Good guy Super. Just continuing to make sure that Grant isn't tilted in chat because he hates seeing Midas off of cooldown, and Lei is gonna get another little bounty there on the way to his level 16. But I mean, just take a look at the net worth at this point. The top 4 contenders on that chart, all Dire side members, and yeah, I mean, Lei has had way too good of a game on the Phoenix, and he's really facilitated most of the success here alongside his Shao Tulei Beastmaster here, Fawn. I mean, he's got a ton of farm, but he doesn't have to do that all that much on this Juggernaut, and that is exactly the ideal situation for your safe laner. As you mentioned, Aghanim Scepter up on the Beastmaster, and Shiva's to come soon. Aghanim Scepter full in base for SCC, and that'll be delivered out fairly soon here as well. Top lane, they're trying to put some pressure into this tier 2, but it doesn't seem that Newbee are all that concerned with that. They clean up the waves quickly with the Slave and the Battle Fury, and will march their battering ram in Fawn up to the high ground. He's got the Aegis and the Blade Fury, so not all that worried about being initiated on.
Actually kind of wants iG.Vitality to initiate on him. Losing your first life as a Juggernaut is not a big deal, and well, there it is. Hex on Fawn, instantly into nothing else. He's actually going to get glimmered out. Dogfights, Hex is going to be down for a couple seconds. Not a huge opening for Newbee.Y, but still chip damage from the tower is adding up. Now the spin is there, pushing out the call to another. That's a big cooldown that is not going to have when the real fight starts. And Newbee.Y get a big delivery of both Shiva's Guard and Aghanim Scepter for the Lina. This is looking real bad here for IG.
Certainly so, and dive for it with the supernova. They're going to find the primal roar. Lei is going to get in. He even gets a fire spirit off. The Laguna blade down the gyrocopter immediately. Fran, he will pop the exorcism, but they can just kite him around at this point. They're going to waste the BKB charge. The dive forward once again. Super getting really low and ticking down to the Phoenix, but should be able to make it back to the fountain. Restoration will be able to do so. However, the melee racks in the meantime brought down with the fiery soul, SCC, and Fawn. Just right-clicking away at these Raxes, and they'll be brought down. Exorcism should be expiring here momentarily. About 5 seconds left, and yeah, iG.V. They'll throw in the towel, jump forward, Fran, for good measure. They're going to bring down this pesky Death Prophet before the game ends. And 26 minutes in, Newbee.Y with some impressive play, particularly from their Phoenix, but all together as a unit. I mean, they got crushed in the mid lane for their Lina, but she comes back, has a Aether Lens, Eul's Ags by the end of the game, and just firing on all cylinders.
So I don't dat Dota all that much, but I'm pretty sure I'm reading this correctly. Average stats for Phoenix score-wise, 3, 4, and 10. So yeah, Lei kind of blowing that out of the water. Average GPM 315, and compared to a 502. So Phoenix the overperformer, giving a reason why all these teams, at least in the Chinese scene, are placing so much priority on this Phoenix. First banning him almost every single phase, but the one time you don't, he's going to be picked up and he's going to end the game with a really spectacular score. Most of this game, I want to say, the reason why iG.Vitality couldn't really get off to a fantastic start was because of the fact that there was such a high-level Phoenix on the other end. It's very difficult to actually dive him, and even diving his allies is pretty difficult because of the heal from the Sunray.
Yeah, so excellent game overall. From Lei and all together from Newbee.Y. And they'll take the first one in the second series of the night. iG.V gonna hotly contest this series, though. Both of these teams looking to nip at the heels of cdec atop the group, who are also undefeated. So this win meaning a lot to both sides. iG.V, they'll dust it off and go back to the drawing board. We'll see what they can concoct for this game 2 draft against Lei and his Newbee.Y squad. Be back in a moment, guys, for game 2.